World.
Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Dual Lens. So, we're going to go ahead and get started tonight. We're so excited that you're here. We are so happy, Ulises and I. We look forward to being with y'all. With y'all, my Texas accent came through.
Y'all.
Y'all, we are so excited to be here every week and talk about different subjects and tackle different sides of the conversation. So we're glad you're here. Make sure you share, you like, and comment. That's always helpful. We invite you in our conversation and we'd like to hear your opinion. So, Ulises, how are you today?
What is going on? I'm doing good. I'm feeling all right. Feeling
You
all
feeling
right.
better? Because I
I'm-
know you were you're pretty sick these past few days. You were like, I see the white light. I see the white light.
It was. I mean, me and the Lord had a conversation, and I was enjoying the mansion, enjoying the streets
Oh
of
my
gold.
God.
Listen, y'all. Like I had the man flu. I want you to understand. Like I had the man flu. Like it was horrible.
Oh, you know
And
what? I didn't know what the man flu is until you told me.
I'm and it changed your life, right? It gave you a better perspective of what men go through. Like women give birth, but it still doesn't compare. It still does not compare to the pain and the suffering that us men go through when we
Whatever.
get sick. You know what I'm saying?
For those
So
who are not, for those who don't know what a man flu is, could you explain to our listeners what a man flu is? Oh my God.
listen, I'm trying to explain this the best way that I can.
No way.
Think of the worst pain you've ever had. Times that by 3. Add another 7,000 to it,
Oh my God.
and there you have it, mathematical, right? Because
Oh,
I mean, a man gets to a point we can't move,
oh my God.
we could barely breathe. Everything just hurt. And
No way.
there's no rest. There's just no rest. Like no matter which way you move, which way you turn, it's like oh.
Let me translate. Let me translate. Let me translate. A man flu is them just being a big baby. They think they're dying. They're just having a little flu, a little pain, and they're like, me muero. No, no, no. Just a little.
I'm
No.
hot. I'm cold. I'm hot. I'm
You
cold.
survive.
And
You're here.
uh,
You survive. So we're good. We're good.
we survived it. Still got this lingering cough though. But overall, it's I'm definitely doing a whole lot better. To be, in all transparency, as they say, in all transparency, it was pretty much a sinus infection with bronchitis, whatever, and or whatever, some upper respiratory infection, and I don't know, man. But when I shared with Maria that I wasn't feeling well, that I had the man flu, she was just trying to figure. She was like she thought that was a real thing. I actually had a friend who was like, the man flu. What's that? Like if it was something real. But but as a man, I survived it. You know what I'm saying? I thought about my children. I thought
Oh
about my
Lord.
future. I thought about Maria. Like, yo, like if I was to go, who's she gonna do this podcast with? So I was like, Lord, send
Oh
me back.
God.
Lord, send me back. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Well, let's get to it then. We're glad you're still here with us. We're glad the cough and the sniffles didn't take you out. We're glad you're here. You're breathing. You're breathing.
I'm briefing.
You're
Thank you,
breathing. You're
Annette. Thank
breathing.
you, Annette. I
And
appreciate that.
Annette, she's awesome. She's sending you some love. So, well, let's get into it. So, let me go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and get started recording this podcast. We're so glad you're here. It's gonna be a good conversation tonight. And I just have to tell you that one of my favorite things to do is podcasting. I am serious. I don't know. It just brings me a lot of joy. I really like having a good conversation, sharing, bringing other people in, hearing different kinds of things. So I just want to let you guys know that we are, and I am very grateful that you allow us to be here, that you're listening to us, supporting us in everything we do, because I
Yes.
really like podcasting. It brings me a lot of joy. So let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go. So welcome back to Dual Lens. I'm Maria, and Ulises. And before we jump in, I want to take a moment to say this podcast is based on personal experience, honest conversation, and lived insight. We are not licensed therapists, counselors, or medical professionals, even though Ulises might think he is. But what we do is we are here to share uh, reflection and growth and conversation, not professional advice. So today's topic is an important one. And Ulysses came up with it. It is red flags versus rough edges. Because not everything that feels uncomfortable is a warning sign, and not every behavior should be explained away. So, together, we're going to talk about how to tell the difference, how to use discernment, and how to protect your peace while still allowing room for growth. This is Dual Lens. Let's get into it.
Awesome.
What did you say? So, how
Awesome.
did you come up with this topic? What brought it on?
What brought it on, Maria, is especially like in a recent when for those who've been in a dating field, like there's just been an uptick on like everybody and their mama and their daddy and their uncle, they're all toxic. Like I don't think if you've been long enough in the dating world, there's nobody that's not toxic anymore, right? Like somebody is saying you're narcissistic, somebody's saying you're a misogynist, somebody like there's a terminology for literally everything
Yeah, we
that
had an episode on that actually.
we and it's been a hot topic, because and there is truth to it, right? There are people out there that are displaying, you know, uh very, very toxic traits for sure. And so, we addressed those things. But what got me thinking, Maria, was like if we're so hyper focused on the toxicity of relationships, then we are quick to dismiss anybody that has a trait or a trait or something that might trigger you, or something that might be like, oh, my last relationship was like this, so therefore, we tend. Is there a possibility that we have missed out on great relationships based off of just some character flaws that could be fixed? You know, so the idea is comparing a red flag to just a rough edge. Like one of the things we talked about is snoring. Snoring is a hot topic, you know.
Ooh, that is, I don't know. That it depends on who you are, but I don't know. So first of all, before we go into the snoring, because that's gonna bring a lot of conversation. Let's get into it if you don't mind. Let's it's very important to have the right language, right? That's very important too. Let's start there because we don't want confusion. So let's start here. And vague language, it causes confusion. So for me, let me explain to you what a red flag is: a pattern of danger, harm, or a lack of safety, emotional, spiritually, or physically. So it's something that can bring harm to you, and it's like a pattern. Something that's not going to be healthy, that's not going to be, for your best interest. A rough
Mhm.
edge, that's a human imperfection, something that can be shaped, healed, mature over time if a person is willing and self aware of that. So the difference isn't whether it bothers you, the difference is whether it threatens your well being. So let's start there. So is snoring a red flag or a rough edge?
Snoring is definitely a rough edge to begin with. To begin with. And the reason why I say to begin with is because, as to your point, a rough edge is something that can be fixed. It can be improved on. So it's like hey, man, you're you're cute and everything. But
Some women snore. So, hey, and he says some women. I mean, we always think are the guys, but I have friends that I have a particular friend that she snores. You can hear her from the other room.
yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And so it's like,
I just want to say it's not me. I don't snore.
much, but but the idea is in a relationship is that my intentions is to marry you, and my intention is to sleep in the same is to sleep in the same bed next to you
Mm-hmm.
every
Mm-hmm.
night. And if you're snoring in a way that you got the Richter scale confused,
Oh my god, that is a good one. Woo, that's a
that
good that's a good burn right there.
you know what I'm saying, that the bed shakes, and it's like, you might want to go see a doctor, right? You might want to go get a sleep test done and get a CPAP machine and all that stuff. Because I mean, and obviously, and the biggest thing is health reasons.
Yes, that's I don't know. To me, I know that for you is a rough edge, but to me, it's kind of like a red flag. If
Ooh,
this is the thing, it's a red flag for me if I don't see the person trying to improve.
right.
That's the
Wh-
key right there. And to me, all these red flags can depend certain ones, but most of them can be a rough edge if I can honestly see improvement. Like you were saying, Ulises, if they're getting a CPAP machine, if they're losing the weight they need, if they're getting their nostrils fixed, if they're I don't know going to do all the stuff health wise that they need to do to get that taken care of, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a little snoring because that'll make the difference between the Richter scale confusion and and a little snoring. It's hey, a little snoring, it's okay. It kind of soothes you after a while. Like, you get it's like the fan, ra-da-da-da-da-da, is that white noise, like, oh, okay,
Right,
I'm just,
right.
you know what I'm saying? That's kind of the thing. So
And there's a weird person out there who uses that as the ASMR to go to sleep. Like, they'll find a YouTube.
I'm sure.
Can you imagine? You know,
Pastor Melissa says, "LL snoring too funny. That is the first topic. You both started strong."
we here for it. We here for it.
Yeah,
We're
hey, because some people snore that. I mean that like, what did you say? What happens to the Richter scale? It
it,
confuses the
it,
Richter
it, it
scale.
could yeah, the Richter scale gets confused. Like, is there an earthquake? What's happening right now? You know, but and this is coming from someone who uses a CPAP machine. You know, I use it. I spent many years, without it, and now that I have one, it's
Can
like,
you tell the difference?
huge difference. It's a huge difference. So, but the biggest motivator was the health reason. You
Yeah.
know, because lack of oxygen can push more pressure on the heart. Lack of oxygen can do stuff to the brain, and there's a whole lot of health reasons why someone should. And so and that's why I said in the beginning, like it starts off as a rough edge, but if a person if they don't want to take care of themselves, health wise, then that is, unfortunately, that is a red flag that people have to consider, when they are choosing a partner. So
I know because if the snoring, I don't know why we're stuck on the snoring part, but that's like a big
because it's
issue.
real life. It's real life.
It's real life.
How
I mean,
many married couples
oh
right now, their partner,
yes, right
their
there.
husband, their wife,
Mhm.
like they just happen to turn to you and want
Yes.
to spoon you
Yeah.
right there in the ear,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you hear,
Oh my god. Yeah.
and it's like, and then you don't hear breathing for like a minute.
I know you can't. It's
know,
dangerous. It's dangerous.
It's real
dangerous.
life.
It's real. It really is. It really is. Because after a while, I mean, you can love a person and everything, but after a while, you're like, oh my God, is he gonna die, or is she gonna die, or what's gonna happen? And that is, that's snoring. Y'all fix it. That is not sexy. And there's nothing sexy about that. Because it's scary. It's scary. Oh, Gina says, it drives me crazy. You see?
We got a real one, people. We got a real one, people. And she gets, oh, yep. I was about to say that. I bet you get angry. And she gets angry.
But then there's the argument. Then there's the argument that the CPAP.
Does he have a CPAP? Does your husband have a CPAP?
Let me see. No, not at all. To what? I don't know. What was the question? But let's talk about now. We're going into a different subject, but not a different subject. But you know how we're talking about that? That'll be a red flag because it goes into other different things. What about when you say, "Well, no, I can't deal with a CPAP machine because it's not sexy." Because it breaks the sexiness of it, and then you have to plan sexy time before you put the CPAP machine on. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Bad.
Oh, Gina said she used to think it was cute. Oh, she used to think it was
the
cute.
snore?
In the beginning. Oh.
In the beginning, oh Lord, and yeah, he doesn't use it faithfully, and
it breaks up the sexy time, dude. It really, I don't know.
But does it? Some people like the sexy time.
Oh no! Don't get me canceled. We're not gonna. No. Oh no!
Don't get you canceled.
Whatever. I'm not interested in sex.
Oh man.
Well, you can plan around.
Every couple want to at least try it once. They at least want to try it once to see how it goes.
Yes, you never know. You never know. But
I'm a little worried about it because if that machine is already breathing,
I thought it was cute.
If the machine is already breathing all that air, and you're trying to catch your breath, and then you got to sit there and take the mouth. Okay, hold on. Then try to put it back. Like, no, I don't know.
So she's not interested in. She's interested in sleep. That too. After you've been married for a long time, hey, we'll work it out tomorrow. I just want to go to sleep. We'll catch up tomorrow. Hey, Gina works a lot, so I can see that, and a lot of us work a lot. We're like, hey, we'll catch up. We'll work around it. There's workarounds. There's workarounds, right?
We'll schedule something for Wednesday at 8:45 to 9. Does that sound good? Okay, 8:45 to 9. That's what we'll do.
Hey, you got to do what, because it's real life. Your life depends on it. So I can work around it. I personally would be like, let's work around it, because you need your sleep, you need your heart, you need your health, and so that could be a red flag. Is she willing to work around the CPAP machine?
Yeah,
that could be a red flag. If she says, no, I'm not gonna work around it, blah blah blah, that intrudes in my sexy time, and blah blah blah, and would that be a red flag? Okay, let's say you're dating somebody, right? And she says, I don't want nothing to do with CPAP situations. That ruins the sexy time, blah 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 blah. Would that be a red flag for you? Would that be a rough edge?
Then do the sexy time before the CPAP. I mean, there's workarounds to it.
Yeah, but if she says no, would that be a red flag?
That's a preference, and I'll just be like, I then, like,
you wouldn't use it,
huh?
You wouldn't use it then?
No, I wouldn't change the person's mind. If they feel that's a red flag, I'd be like, okay, cool. That's your preference.
But would you continue dating them? That's my question.
I mean, if she's saying that a CPAP machine is a no-no, then what does that look like? Does that look like, okay, you don't want to see me wearing a CPAP machine ever? And if that's the case, then you know what? I want to live. I want to live. I want to live. You know, so it is a red flag. You know, because for sure you're not gonna tell me, hey, I'm staring at your face, seeing you stop breathing 19 times at night, but I like it when you don't have a mask on. You know, like, if you can see my face at nighttime struggling for breath. And you like, if you think that's sexy, then that's a problem.
I can't. I need to comedy hour with Mr. Ulises Vargas.
You think that's okay? No, that's not. No, you know what? Get out the house. Just get out the house.
Right I'm done with you.
I'm breaking up with you before you break up with me, because I think you want to kill me. I think that's what I think exactly what you're trying to do.
You want to cash in the insurance money?
You probably got that pillow over my face, and I'm just thinking that I just can't breathe. You know,
okay.
You okay? Are you okay? Like, what are you doing awake at 2:00 in the morning? What's really going on right now?
Oh my God. You know why I'm laughing? Because all these scenarios they can really actually happen. You know that? Seriously. Oh my God. What is it? What is in the red cup, sir? What is in the red cup? Oh, Dr. Pepper. Mm-hmm. Now you have to come up with a Dr. Pepper jingle, because you just showed a brand. Now they're gonna get a lot of advertisement from us, and no dinerito. So
Dr. Pepper, good.
There you go.
Good.
The new jingle. So what is another red flag? So snoring. We already talked about snoring could be a red flag if you don't take care of it. If you don't see improvement and things like that, it can turn into a red flag. But if you start doing your thing that you're supposed to, then it's just a rough edge. You can work around it.
So
you can definitely work around it.
Another one I think is also this one is also going to be a good one to get into is.
And if any of you want to share what a rough edge would be and what a red flag would be for you, please put it in the comments.
So a good example would be communication. Can that be a rough edge, or is that a red flag?
What kind of communication?
Just communication, like
if they talk and don't talk, or they share feelings, don't share feelings.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Because communication is based off of the individual, right? Like so a woman might say, well, he needs to communicate his feelings more, whatever the case is, right? And so as a man who's never been in an environment where or been in an environment where he's been made fun of when he shared his feelings, or been called less of a man because he shared his feelings, you know, like there's, okay, well, you know, I do love you, so I'm going to either work on this or be like, you know, this is just who I am, like take it or leave it. Right. So communication style, I think is communication for me has the potential for growth. You know, if somebody was to say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, and this is the type of communication that I'm looking for, then I can grow into that. So you know what? I'm not really used to that. But if this is what you desire, if this is what you need, then that's something that I can work towards too.
Well, to me, I mean, you know, that again, here we go. Here, this is what we're talking about. You and I, that like sometimes we think differently. But for me, if somebody that I'm going to be in a relationship with doesn't know how to communicate right off the bat, that's a red flag for me. I'm not gonna. If you don't know how to talk to a woman and you don't know how to talk to her, I don't know. I don't know if I have the patience to teach you. I don't know. I
Right
don't
off the
because
jump, right off the bat.
no, yeah, right. Because if right from the beginning I have to pull the conversation, if I have to, different. If I como say she's Presidio, well, I'll let you read that. But to me, there's certain things that are for me are a red flag, and sometimes I think that red flags could be preferences in some instances, like you were saying before, and it depends on who you are and what you value. I value communication. Like I value there is nothing I could say the word sexier than a man that can communicate right.
Okay.
Because
But
but it's not but at the level that I want to communicate, if he's coming over, no, I just can't like I
but
mean, I cannot. I'm sorry.
is there
I'm
room?
sorry. I cannot sit through. What you doing? Nothing. The same thing I was doing 10 minutes ago. What you're doing. I mean, like, oh, I know.
What's your
If you
favorite
can't hold,
color?
if you can't hold a conversation, if you cannot explain yourself, if you cannot communicate with me, because there's something that needs to be said that person and I are going to have. We're not going to be in bed every day. We're not going to be sleeping. There's going to have to be some kind of conversation. There has to be some kind of communication. And if me and that person don't communicate at the same level, how are we going to plan things? How are we going to resolve issues? How are we going to move forward? How are we going to create and build stuff if we can't even communicate? I mean, to me, that's
True. True. I mean, but there's levels to it, right? So it's like if you like somebody, are you willing to see if they're willing to grow into that
nope,
versus wow.
nope.
So like
Then, then I become your teacher. Then I become your teacher. I don't want to be their teacher. I
so
mean, am I your
so
wife or am your woman or am I about your
so
teacher?
you don't
I
have
don't know.
patience. So you don't have patience to kind of like help somebody grow. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like if
No, because it's different. It's different because when you're in a relationship, men don't want a woman to tell them what to do or how to be, or most men don't want that. If he needs to grow, it's gonna have to come from another man teaching him, or another mentor, or some kind of training, or some kind of coaching,
mm,
some different. Because I'm not going to teach you how to communicate with me. I can teach you my communication style. Like I can teach you my communication style.
mhm.
I can teach you, or not even teach you, I can communicate to you my communication style, and we can have a conversation about it. But
Mhm.
me teaching you how to oh, I don't say, I come ready. I mean, dude, if I was 20, maybe I could teach you, but at my age, no, come ready. Mm-mm. Come ready. At 50
But
some years old, you need to come ready because I don't have that much time to be, I don't know, I'm sorry, but just being plain and honest,
no, it's good. I
come
mean,
ready.
definitely appreciate your honesty and the expectation that you have set. Is your preference, right?
And
You
said,
know,
and to prove my point, why am I doing a podcast with you? Why do you and I do hours and hours of podcasting together? Because you know how to communicate.
true.
You like Dr.
But
Pepper. You're obsessed with Dr. Pepper. I can ignore that. I can ignore that you have a Christmas tree for the whole year. I can ignore those. But what I respect about you is your communication. You are an excellent communicator off and on the screen.
but I grew into that. It wasn't like I just woke up one day and was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It was a growth that came into it. So but I do understand where you and everybody else is coming from. Like, especially the older you get, there are just some things that you should just understand, right? And for my experience when it comes to communication, I grew up around music, right? So I used to write lyrics when I was 15 years old. I used to do, I used to do Christian rap music. I used to record, so I used to have to write lyrics. English was always one of my stronger subjects. So I knew how to write paragraphs. So it was just something that I hindsight being 2020, I can see like, okay, Lord, this is what you are preparing me for.
Yeah.
And the creativity aspect, growth, later on in life, when I'm in my 20s, I'm still doing music, still writing music, I eventually ended up writing a book, later on in life. I got ordained as a pastor, began to preach. So I had to write sermons. And so there's a whole lot of things that God put me into that honed my communication skills, and whether it's corporate world, or whether it's one-on-one conversations, but my observation has been, if you want people's attention, or if you want people to respect you, then you have to know what you're talking about. You have to be willing, because naturally I'm an introvert. Believe it or not, peoples. Believe it or not. But
Yeah, you are.
I'm an introvert naturally. Like
Hmm.
you put me in a setting with the wrong people, and I'm just gonna stay quiet.
Yeah, you
If
do.
you talk to me, I'm gonna talk back. Like I know how to have conversation, but I'm not gonna go up to you and be like, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Ulises Vargas Martinez de la Cruz de Jesus, the third twice removed. How are you?" Like I'm not gonna
Uh-huh.
do that. But I'm also used to stage presence. I've
Yeah.
been on stages, so I know how to engage. Right, I know how to I know how to tell stories and get the people's attention,
Yeah.
and keep them engaged. Unfortunately, to y'all's point, there are just some men who really lack their surroundings. They really lack, the idea that, what, if I want a good woman, then I have to be willing to be uncomfortable beyond my natural state, because I've been in situations where, because people felt like I share too much, that I wasn't a real man, because I expressed my feelings, or because I became vulnerable, or whatever the case. I've been in those situations, so I understand where some men may come from. But you can't use that as a scapegoat. You can't use that as an excuse, because the next person you meet is not the last person that you were talking to.
And I understand that, but what I mean to say is, at the level, like somebody said, there's level of communications, and I have to decide if your level of communication is something that we can work with, and there's something that we absolutely cannot. And I have seen it both ways. There's levels of communication that I'm like, okay, he's a little rough around the edges, but I can see progress. I can see hope. I can see that, we can work on this. He cute. He cute. We can work on it. He's cute. He's cute. We can work on it. But sometimes I've been on dates that I am like, oh my God, I can't get away from this date fast enough. And I understand, and because it's just rough out there. And I understand, that if I label every uncomfortable moment as a red flag, I will never allow growth and intimacy. I understand that. That if everything for me, oh, it's a red flag. Oh, it's a red flag. No, no, no. I have to make sure that their level of communication, or their level of whatever, is something I can work with, and something I cannot. That
Mhm.
there's hope. And that's what and Melissa K said, come ready. Yes, if you haven't learned it by now, I'm not going to teach you. And then Pastor Melissa says there is hope. I like that. It's hope. But I don't want to be, but then again, I'm all for hope, and I'm all for all that. But again, we've got to use discernment that we're going to be talking about. You've got to discern when is okay to work with that, and when is okay to let it go. Because I'm all about hope, but what could happen is that you end up stuck in that relationship, or you're stuck
Mhm.
in that because you fell in love with a hope. You fell in love with their potential. You
Potential.
fell in love with the person that they could be just
That's
because they're cute.
dangerous. That's
And then
dangerous.
you're stuck there in that relationship hoping they change. And then you're pushing them to change and you're forcing them to change. And I'm telling you, because I'm not talking about, I'm talking about experience. That's why certain things you got to come ready, because I don't want to force you. And then what happens is that I will be resentful towards you because I am pushing you to learn how to communicate. I am pushing you to be somebody that you're not. Then you're going to be resentful of me because I'm pushing you. And so there's got to be there's certain things that you've got to say, okay, you don't have it. You could if you wanted to. I don't think I can teach you. Go find it. When you get it straight, come back and see me. You know, that kind of thing. Because hey, no, Lisa.
It'll be too late by then. It'll be too late by then.
I mean, you move on. You move on. If it's the right person for you, it's the right person for you. And you know, but there's certain things that you've got to. We fall as women. I'm serious. We fall in love with men's potential so much. We're like, oh, he I can work that. I can. But what happens is we tend to become moms and we tend to become teachers and that's not what men want. He wants a wife. If he wanted a mother, he'd go call her. If he wanted, I mean, do you know what I'm saying? There's a delicate balance when that happens. So yeah, let me get off that soapbox. But
no, it's good because I mean, and just to stay in that vein, right? Because when you stay for potential, you know, you basically fall in love with a projection, right?
Woo! Okay, you need to say that a little bit slower for the people in the back. For the people in the back need to see, you can communicate. You see, Ulysses? You can communicate.
It's a gift. It's a gift. You know what I mean? But
I don't know if that's
but the danger of falling in love with potential or fall in love with potential instead of reality is that you fall in love with the projection.
Clarissa says just stay single.
Just stay single, you know, avoid all the drama. You know, but it's almost like an artist, like you know, Maria has a friend that draws, right? You know, she's a painter or whatever the case is, and it's like the potential is the sketch, but the reality is the canvas in front of you.
Woo! Melissa said fantasy bonding. That's good. That's real good.
Right. Because why? Because it creates you know, misaligned. What's the word I'm looking for? Misaligned expectations.
Values, expectations, yeah.
You know, it creates disappointment. And then you stay stuck in that cycle of disappointment because you're hoping for that potential that never comes. And then this is from experience, like it's so much emotional confusion that comes with it because your mind is telling you run, but your heart is saying just give it one more shot.
Especially us as Christians. Oh my God. Us as Christians, we let me say this a little bit. So us Christian women, we want to pray the stupid out of men. And sometimes it's just that can't happen. Just sometimes it's just my God, and we get stuck in there and we fall in love with hope and we just because we honestly think we can pray the same way men. And we want to give a lot of chances because you know God's gonna work it through, and we know and this and oh Lord. Don't give me. I mean,
no, you're right.
Men too. He says men too. Not just women.
We all go through it because we excuse. How can I say this? We excuse what should be evaluated. We excuse it. I know he or she did X, Y, and Z, but I can excuse that away.
She's cute. Cause she's cute.
You know, they just need time, you know.
The love goggles. Oh, the love goggles,
drunk goggles, they're all the same at that point, or it's just like I mean, you're seeing triple. and it's like you're trying to find which one is the personality for the day. Is
like
this going to be
like if she don't know how to cook, she don't know how to clean, she don't know how to do anything, you're like, it's okay. It's okay. She's beautiful. She's just amazing. She's just floats in the air. Her voice is smooth. Who cares if she don't know how to cook or clean? We'll hire a maid.
She's so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
And then you start investing time into the relationship. You start investing money into the relationship, energy into the relationship, and it's like and it becomes a unstable situation because you're the one that's going.
You get Twitter patted, like Pastor Melissa says. You get Twitter patted. Yeah, we sure do. Go ahead, Ulises.
Twitter patted. Please explain that. Please, I'm not.
We need to show you a video. That's when that little bunny. That little bunny, he sees the little bunny girl, and he gets real excited, and then she goes like that. That's exactly what it is. You got it. That's exactly what it is.
But here's my 2 cents on it, and then we'll continue to move on, and unless somebody has something else to add to it. But the danger of pursuing a potential is that you're not building a relationship. You're doing a renovation project. And unfortunately, and I heard someone else, I read someone else say it, like you can inspire growth, but you can't manufacture the transformation. Like you can't make them grow. You can motivate, you can inspire, you can have them hard hitting conversations, but at the end of the day, like And I've heard it before, and other people have heard it too. If whatever they show you the first time, believe it. And that's hard for us because they so cute.
They smell nice.
They make me laugh. They make me laugh, and they're just so cute.
Smell nice.
And they smell nice, and they dress nice, and they're everything that I prayed for. God, I know you blessed me with this man. I know he ain't got no job. I know he got 7 baby daddies and he wants me to pay the child support, but he's just so cute.
He's so cute.
Like come on, man,
So let's talk about what rough edges are doable. What rough edges are doable?
Let's continue to talk about that. What rough edges are doable?
I say manners. Some manners. Some manners. That's a rough edge. I mean, most men don't have a degree in etiquette, and that's a rough edge. Like if certain manners are like, okay, manners, I can deal with that.
Give an example.
Give an example. Using their forks. And you know how you have a fork for the salad, and you have a fork for dinner, and you have a little spoon for dessert, and I
still don't know which fork is what.
I mean, that's okay.
I use both, actually. I use both for
a rough edge would be like you don't know the proper etiquette when you go to a formal event, or when you go to a baby shower, or when you go to certain things, and those are rough. You can teach a man those things. When you go to somebody's house, you make sure you take something. When you
that's interesting. So you have the patience for that. You got the patience for that.
I sure do. I do,
but not for communication.
If you
and sometimes trying to teach a man from the hood manners in a professional setting can be just as frustrating as trying to communicate with somebody.
No, listen.
Huh?
Listen. Yes, that's what it depends on the person. It depends on who you are and what are your values are. Like I'm okay with you not knowing certain etiquettes and certain places and certain things. I'm okay because I can teach you. If you're from the hood, if you're a little rough, we can educate you. We can teach you manners. But because you communicate very well, I can teach you how to do it, or we can communicate about it. But if you can't learn how to communicate, I can't teach you what not to do and what to do. I just know.
Okay. I'm just asking. I'm just
Yeah.
asking.
Like I
I'm
can
just asking.
say, because if I can tell you, that's not the fork, babe. That's not the fork. Just drop that. And like, babe, that water is for that little bowl with water is not soup. It's for you to wash your hands. You know, I can teach him those things, but if he don't know how to communicate, like, what? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué? ¿Cómo que dice que? Oh my God, just like, oh Lord, you
But
know.
that right there is manners though. Like because you're
I
super
can teach
loud,
manners
you're
are
super loud,
teachable.
you're super loud
Manners
and
are
obnoxious in a public setting. Like no, that steak right there. You see how this. Like you see how it's chiseled at this point. It's not pink enough. Please take it back.
yeah,
You
nah.
know, like
You
that's
can teach
to me
manners,
that's
like
man to me that's manners. Like to me that's embarrassing. Like I'd rather deal with somebody in a communication aspect than have to deal with
no.
somebody
He says no. You can
who wanna act.
communicate. No. So no. Communicate. How important is communication to you, sir? How important is communication
Well,
in
it's
the couple?
often very important for sure.
What level are you no good? What level are you gonna say? I'm out. What level of communication would you say I'm out of here?
When probably when they start drooling at the side of their mouth and just what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
But no, just joking.
For
But
real? That low,
no,
that
no,
low
I'm just
level of
joking.
communication?
I'm kidding, people. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But here's but a thing for me is how you act in public is just as crucial as me trying to teach you how to communicate. Because if you embarrass me, I'm not going to deal with that. Like you are too grown to be yelling at the waitress. You are too grown to be loud and obnoxious in a public setting, especially around people that I'm introducing you to. So it's like I no, and then it's like okay, I'm taking you to meet my friends or my coworkers, and you dressed like you going to the club.
Eee!
You know what I'm saying? Those are issues too. You know.
They are. So again, we're talking about different levels. Like
Mhm,
I can teach you a couple of manners, and that's okay. Because we're rough around the edges, but
mhm,
it would be a red flag if you're obnoxious, if you're mean to the waiters, if you have no patience, if those things I can see where those would be red flags. Like if they have no patience with kids, or let's say we go
mm,
somewhere and there's a kid that we're in a restaurant and there's a little kid crying, and that's normal. We all, we've all been parents, we've all had kids that don't feel well at that point. And then if my day turns around, oh my God, what is wrong with that kid? Somebody shut that kid up, go take it outside, blah blah blah. I'm like, check please, you know. Check please. To go box, can I have a to go box? Ma'am, you just ordered the
mm.
salad. Nope, can I take it to go box?
Go. Yeah, like which deuce do you want? Do you want the front one or do you want the back one? Because I'm trying to figure it out right now. No, but it's true. Oh, I got another one. Here's a good one for you, Maria. Is there a rough edge or a red flag when it comes to conflict avoidance?
Yes. Yes.
Talk to us.
Because if we have to have a red flag for me is if you and I need to talk about a difficult subject and you don't allow me the space enough for us to have that difficult conversation, that's going to bring trouble in the future.
Mm.
If you and I cannot have difficult conversations and come out of it still in a good place, that lets me know something about our relationship.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me say, Rubén Colón. Hola, Rubén, ¿cómo estás? Saludos. Dios les bendiga. He is watching from Puerto Rico. Saludos, Puerto Rico. Woo, woo, woo. And we'll talk about the Bad Bunny, halftime show later. Saludos, Rubén. Dios te bendiga. Qué bueno que estás bien y que estás en sintonía. Gracias por tu apoyo. So to your question, That if you avoid the subject, that tells me you're not mature enough. That tells me that you can't have conversations. If we cannot have a difficult conversation about something simple or an issue, whether it be a big one or a little one, that's an indication of where our relationship is. If we're just starting to date, I'm okay with it because we just started today. You don't know me, I don't know you. We're getting to know each other, and you don't know that that I'll be uncomfortable with that. You don't know how I'm going to react. If we're dating, at the beginning, that's okay because we're getting to know each other and stuff. And I need to get at least 3 or 4 dinners from you. But as time goes on, and we can, I worry if I see a couple that they just cannot handle a difficult conversation, and all they do is avoid it and push the issues to the back, to the back, to the back. That's gonna explode. That's gonna show up in that's a pressure cooker. It's gonna show up somewhere else. It's gonna show up in spending. It's gonna show up in bad moods. It's gonna show up in other areas.
Very true. No, I'm definitely in agreement with you on that one for sure. you know, the more you get into the relationship, the hope is that you feel safe enough to have conversation, with your partner. The hope is that that there's no yelling involved, no screaming, name calling, whatever the case is, and be able to engage in conversation, even if you don't agree, with the end result, that y'all could still come back and still be in love and still work on the relationship, whatever the case is. So that to me, it starts off as a rough edge, but that's, to me, that's more borderline of rough edge, but I am watching this thing closely. So it's more like on the borderline of the red flag aspect than the actual red on actual rough edge. And so for me, I think something that we should be, hopefully we can talk about a little bit in depth with the time that we have is, do you feel like it's easy to confuse the red flag versus rough edge?
Yes. It's very easy to confuse if you don't have discernment, if you're not self-aware, and if you have love goggles on. That you just see love, love, love. You have fairy dust all over your eyes. You can't see. Sometimes it's rough. And you know what? Sometimes we think that we can handle certain things. We're like, I can handle that. That's not a big deal. We can handle that. But we are not aware that can turn into a big issue later on. So we need to be aware, just know what it is and what is not, and what can turn into things. Because a lot of times, honestly, when after I was married for 25 years, I can't believe that. So you say that number, you're like, oh my God, that's a long time. When I started in the dating pool, I didn't know a lot. I didn't know about red flags. I didn't know about green flags. I didn't know there was such things as flags. I didn't have, because sometimes we don't have the knowledge. We don't have the verbiage. We don't have the understanding. We don't have the capacity. And we go into the dating, we go into these relationships, and that's why I like these conversations. That's why these conversations are needed. That's why Ulises and I, sometimes we just tell it like it is, because if I had some people talking about these things that we're talking today, I could have known some things and I would have not made the mistakes that I made. I remember dating somebody because I had this hope that I could change him. I had this hope that I'm going to pray him through. I'm going to change him. I didn't know that people need to change on their own, that people need to take responsibility for their own growth. I thought that I could speak in tongues until he got better. I thought I could pray it through. I thought I could do all those things. I can just convince him and talk him out of it and talk him into it. And I did not know the things that I do now. So that's why it's important for us women and men to continue the growth, to continue to search, to continue to read, to continue to get coaching and understanding, to hear, to listen, to be aware of what we want and what is acceptable for us and our values, and just grow as a person. Because when you grow, you realize you deserve better. And when you know who you are and what your value is, you won't put up with as much stuff as you used to. When you have a low self-esteem, any little bit of attention, you're like, that's what I deserve. That's okay that he's like that. That's okay. But when you know your value and you know that you should expect more, then you look for that. You look for that in a person that's coming into your life because you value yourself. You know who you are. You know what you're capable. And and with that knowledge, you pick better. It's like fruit. The more I know about avocados, the more I know, the better avocado I can pick. But when I don't know nothing about avocados, I can grab a really hard one and I think, oh, that looks good. And I take it. I need to find the one. I need to look at the avocado, at the little whole thing, kind of brownish. That tells you that it's a good season. That tells you where it's from. And the better you know about fruit, the better you pick fruit. And the better you enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it, Ulises. That's my
No, good stuff. Good stuff. Christy says the opposite is true too. In our culture, we can deem minimal inconveniences into reasons for cutting people off. Just you know what? The way that you breathe felt funny to me. You know,
the way that you chew food.
Don't get me started on that one.
Yeah, let's talk about it. No, let's talk about it. And to Christina's point, Christina's point, we did say that we can't see everything as a little red flag because you can lose opportunity to find somebody really amazing in your life. We talked about that. So there's got to be wisdom and discernment on our part to discern what level of BS we can take.
No, and
let's talk about the chewing, Ulises. I know that's your favorite subject.
Let's talk about. Should we talk about the chewing now?
Let's talk about the chewing. Is that a red flag or is that, excuse me, a red edge?
That is like a blurple flag. It's like it is one of the most cringiest. Like there's certain things that just.
Is it a deal breaker for you?
That's a huge deal breaker.
Like, really? She could be the perfect girl, but if she si come como vaca, you don't like her? But that's a rough edge. That's not a deal breaker. That's a rough edge, Lee says.
How is that a rough edge if they can't control their truth?
You can tell that no, that's not a red flag. Chewing. Okay, people on the chat, can y'all back me up? Ladies, back me up. You can teach them how to chew better. That is not a red flag.
No, there's no teaching that. There is stop it.
Stop it. No way. You're gonna tell them like that?
Stop it. No, I won't tell them like that. But stop it. like don't chew. You know.
Okay, can you say Christina? Christy, dice, I support this. I cannot. She put it capitalized. With breathing into microphones. I've dropped classes over this. I knew people at work during meetings over this.
I'm telling you, because like you know, like there are people that you know, and I love them, you know, but it's just like like it's almost like they're making love to the food that they're chewing. And it's like, what do you are we making a P video right now? What is P Diddy in the room? What is happening right
now? Wow. So the perfect woman can come into your life and you will drop her because she don't know how to eat.
It's not that she don't know how to eat, it's that she don't know how to eat quietly.
She don't know how to chew.
You don't know how to chew quietly, like a normal person, you know, like just
God, for real, Ulises?
You know, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do when you're chewing your food. Don't breathe. Just chew your food. like I might be able to deal with that versus. You know,
Lisa, don't get me canceled.
I won't. Yeah. Lose your position.
Okay, you want to answer Melissa K's question?
She says maybe characters should be a red flag and humanists can be a rough. Yeah, no,
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
that is a very very good point. Because I mean the aspect of what red flags are, right? We're looking at red flags and we're
And
seeing
we
it.
talked about at the beginning.
hmm and so those are character traits of people who don't want to improve. Like they're always blaming you for the problem. So those are definitely and humanness. Us as being humans. We're going to make mistakes, right? We're even going to do things that may even look like it's a toxic trait. We could. Didn't I tell you to take the trash? No, you didn't tell me that. No, now you gaslighting me, huh? Now you get so it's like, no, like I really just don't remember you telling me that. So there are issues that we all have.
What about unforgiveness? Would be that be if you're dealing with
Ooh.
somebody who has unforgiveness, would that be a red flag for you, or would that be a rough edge?
No, that is a dead flag for me. Not even a red flag. It's burn it to the ground.
A deal
Flag.
breaker.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. If you have
You
an
don't, you
issue,
don't, you don't think you think you can teach somebody how to communicate, but you don't think you can teach somebody how to forgive?
you can teach somebody how to forgive. You can teach somebody how to communicate, but the person has to be willing to be taught, or they have to be willing to see that they are harboring this stuff. Like unfortunately, like Maria, I was married for 23 years, and I was dealing with somebody who did not truly forgive. They say they did, but their actions proved quite the opposite. No matter how many times you've apologized, no matter how many times you've shown them you changed, no matter how many, like, 1,000 different ways to prove it doesn't matter, right? Because some people unfortunately hold on to the victim mentality. They hold on to that victim role because that's the only power that they have. Like they experience that power, they enjoy that power because you do whatever it is that they needed to do. And when you get to a place where it's like, no, like I'm not doing this no more, they lose that power, and then all they have is bitterness. Like the true colors come out. So so unfortunately, for anybody who's like, hey, like, I'm Miss America over here, but I hold on to unforgiveness. I don't care. I don't care who you are, what you look like, how much money you have. If you do not know how to forgive, I'm outie to thouty. I'm not going to do it. That is a red flag, 100% of the time.
So there's
100%.
So to just kind of reiterate what we've talked about, that red flag is like a pattern, something that they don't change, something that could be very harmful in the future, something that you need to really, that it can affect you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, that person does, and you see that, that's a red flag. A rough edge is, something that they can work on. Like we've talked about manners, they can work. Elisa sees as a red flag, I'm good. I mean, if you chewing, I can tell you, hey, you know what, let's chew a little bit better, or let me cut up your food a little bit
Let me
better.
teach you how to chew. Just
Let me, and there's
like this, chew like
there's
this.
certain things.
Um.
so
Yeah.
it really, and Ulisa says, I mean, some people it's not a red flag, it goes all the way up to a deal breaker. So, and that's where, I don't really uh want us to miss a good person that can come into your life if you see something that could be a rough edge as a red flag, and you don't allow time to change. So if you see somebody, like for example, Elise says, if you tell her, do a little bit better, and you see her trying to do progress, that's okay. If they don't have manners and we're trying to teach them a little bit, that's okay. In my case, if they don't know how to communicate, oh Lord, help me, Jesus. And I'm teaching. Okay, hey, no, let's not talk about that. No, Lisa, we can't. Yeah, if you want to know why he's making that face, you need to watch one of the other episodes that we explain why he sticks out his tongue like that. That's a deal breaker for me. So we got to be aware of other people and what is a rough edge, what can be worked on. And if you see somebody that you really like it and you have those difficult conversations and they don't shy away of having those different, I think that's a good green flag when you can tell somebody that you're in relationship and say, you know what, I don't like the way you just eat. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll work on it. Well, okay, well, let's work on, maybe getting dentures. Let's work on, doing something, what can we do? Let's work on this together. And you're like, have those, and they still love you and you're still okay. And you have those, that's a green flag. That's a good relationship. That has hope because let's work on it. But when they're like, no, 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 oh, it's all a learning experience. So everyone, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. We have more episodes. Ulises and I have talked about a couple more episodes that we're going to be doing. And thank you for joining our conversation. Thank you for sharing, comment. We have more to come.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you guys. And if you guys have something that y'all want to talk about, feel free to drop it in the comment section. And let us know what it is that you want to talk about. And that way we can bring it to the table and talk about it and really just dig into the conversation. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another edition of the Dual Lens podcast. Join us again next week, next Tuesday, prayerfully, willfully. We all will be here. We'll engage in more relationship type of conversations. Especially this is the love month, the Valentine's. If you ain't got no Valentine's, take yourself out.
Yes,
take yourself out, or find some couple of your friends. Just go out and have a good time. Like don't mope at home eating ice cream. Watching chick flicks. Wishing you had something. No, make it happen for yourself. Go out there, take a road trip. Do it. Valentine's on a Saturday, so just take a road trip. Go somewhere, do something. Treat yourself. Treat yourself, as they say. So, but we love y'all. We appreciate every single one of you guys for joining us. We know y'all didn't have to, but you was willing to, and we appreciate it. Thank you for the likes, the laughs, the shares, the comments. All of that goes into what it is to this brand that we are building, you guys. So we thank you, every single one of you guys, so much. So we love y'all, appreciate y'all, and see y'all next week.